Hi, good day to each and everyone. My name is Abigail Ann Belandres and our lesson for today is lesson 8. So, here in lesson 8, we're gonna talk about art of emerging Europe. So, what is art of emerging Europe? So, dito natin malalaman kung paano nag-emerge yung art sa Europe. So, first, we're gonna talk about the ancient Greece. Greek value poetry, drama, and philosophy, which remain interesting field of study for the contemporary times. So, here in ancient Greece, dito natin nabavalue yung poetry, drama, and philosophy nung time ng contemporary arts. Painting, sculpture, and architecture, those who wants to be in love in art, one is required to have a certain skill set and body of knowledge. So, here in ancient Greece, painting, sculpture, and architecture are involved. So, involved yung knowledge natin, yung body natin, and yung skill set natin. When it comes to sculptures, painting, drawings, architecture, the humanities ideals of the Greece were reflected in their geometric form of government. That is certain level of freedom was also reflected in their artwork, like architecture, literature, and philosophy. So, here in ancient Greece, we have freedom to reflect our artwork in painting, drawing, sculpture, architecture, and philosophy. The principles, belief system, and ideologies are the core of Greek art and architectures. So, here in ancient Greece, ang pinapaniwalaan po nila ay principles and ideology when it comes to Greek art and architecture. Greek art can be divided into 4 periods. So here in ancient Greece, we have 4 periods of arts. We have geometric, archaic, classical, and Hellenistic. So, here the 4 picture of the example of the 4 periods of ancient Greece. So let's proceed to the 4 period of Greek art. So here in 4 period of Greek art, first we have geometric period, the period when geometric shape and patterns have taken the spotlight of the artwork. So here in geometric period, dito na po nauso yung shape and patterns. So here the example of geometric period. So second, we have archaic period. Place importance on human figures. It is primarily result of Greece trading activities with others civilization. So here in archaic period, mas pinoportrait nila yung mga importance figure ng humans. So for example, like this photo. So the third was the classical period. During the classical period, Greek sculpture and architecture is at its peak, rebuilding their templates and focusing on creating artwork. So here in classical period, mas sinashowcase nila yung classical na pamamaraan kung paano gumawa ng isang artwork na simple lang, like this photo. So the last one was Hellenistic period. Here in Hellenistic period is the time of Alexander the Great. Art is focused on showcasing emotion and displaying reality. Hellenistic sculpture emphasized balance while showcasing dynamic poses and a number of emotion evoked by the subject. So here in Hellenistic period, pinapakita po nila kung paano mag-emphasize ng sculpture through poses, number of emotions. Yun po yung meron sa Hellenistic. So, example, the Laocoons and his sons, the example of Hellenistic period at 3rd or 2nd century. There is, here's the picture of Laocoons and his sons. So, here in photo, there's a man and the 2 boys being attacked by a snakes. Yun po yung pinapakita sa picture na yan. Sino-showcase niya yung emotions and those poses ng sculptures. So, let's talk about naman po the ancient Rome. So, Roman Republic was established around 509 BCE. It transformed into one of the Western Europe mighty empire. They expand and covered many territories including the Greek. So, na-establish itong Roman Republic noong 509 BCE, which is na-transform ito sila nung Western Europe. Nag-expand itong Ancient Rome at nasali yung territory ng Greek, which is the fusion of Roman and Greek culture can be seen mostly in artwork, but some argued that Roman merely copied Greek art. So, nagsanipwersa po ang Roman and Greek sa culture ng artwork, which is marami nagsasabi na ginaya lang daw po ng mga Roman yung artwork ng Greek. Pero hindi po. Because Roman artwork are stern, harsh, and strong looking. Invoke the principle of realism and highlighting the feature of human being. Dahil po, ang artwork ng mga Romans is stern, harsh, and strong looking. And fini-features po nila yung human being. Roman are also known as master builder that earned their reputation for grand monuments and architecture into infrastructure. So, ang Romans naman po is known sila sa mga master builder that earned reputation in monumentum. So, for example, the Colosseum, one of the architectural achievements of Romans. The amphitheater was planned and constructed during the reign of Emperor Vespasian. So, ito Colosseum nito, ito yung isa sa mga achievements ng mga Romans when it comes to architectural. So, let's talk about the Middle Age. Here in Middle Age, it is the period of between the decline of the Roman Empire and the Renaissance, characterized by ignorance and darkness. Another dominant characteristic of this period was a church. It is the central figure and authority of the period, highlighting the religious focus of the period. So here in Middle Age po, ay nakafocus lang sila sa church, religions, and cathedrals. So, this cathedral can be categorized into two. So, we have two periods in cathedrals. So, first, the Romanesque and the Gothic. So, based on this picture, ano yung pinagkaiba ng Romanesque and Gothic? So, Romanesque, meron siyang small window, dark interior, thick walls and rounded arches. And sa Gothic naman is meron silang large stained glass windows, painted arches, flying buttresses. So yun po yung pinagkaiba ng Romanesque and Gothic. So the last of my topic was the Renaissance art. So let's talk about the Renaissance art. So here in Renaissance art, artists value the individuals as a subject of art. Most artwork emphasize naturalism, which also an influence of humanism. Most artists added perspective of depth, wherein space were explored in different artwork. This technique provide a three-dimensional perspective of most Renaissance painting. Artists also gave importance to no-religious themes and subject. However, most artwork remained religious in its focus and themes. Revival of Roman theater plays performed during special occasion often greatly influenced their tradition of popular theater. So here in Renaissance art, artists value the individual as a subject of matter. And an example of this was David by Michelangelo. So this is the photo. So that's all my report, and the rest was my group mates.
Good morning to each and everyone. My name is Nor Surayniti. Ang topic ko today is all about Neoclassicism, Mannerism, Baroque and the Rococo, and also the Realism. So, si Neoclassicism is a movement siya ng Europe na transpired during the late 18th and early 19th century. So, bago na-develop or nag-start ang modern artist, nakipag-debate muna ang historian bago nabuo ang modern art. So ito yung art movement na which is basically na like pagbabalik or na influensya ng Greek and Roman, like maging into art and architecture. So yung painting na meron sila is nagiging art na siya at nagagawa na siyang architecture. So ang ancient Greek and Europeans is ini-emphasize nila na ang tao is naging reason para mag-keep ang society nila in a order. Like yung mga painting na meron sila is ang mga tao ang naging dahilan para makip ang society nila. So ang mga principle na to is like a dominant principle nung 18 and 19th century pa, nung tinatawag na nilang Enlightenment period. So ang period ng Neoclassicism is ito na yung tinatawag nilang revival, like pagbabalik ng classical style and treatment in art, literature, architecture, or music. So dito na nanggagaling is nagkakagusto na sila sa mga classical style or nagugustuhan na nila yung mga classical style, like pati na rin yung treatment nila sa art at pati na rin sa literature, architecture, and also the music. So, ang Mannerism is, ito na yung period in art history which is product siya ng Renaissance period. So, basically, lahat ng product ng Mannerism is nanggagaling or nung era pa ng Renaissance period. So, like mga art, literature, sculpture, like lahat is nasa Renaissance period pa. So yung mga artists is inoobserba nila ang nature at tinatry nila yung best nila para sa observation or inoobserba nila yung nature para magawa nilang painting yun. So nung nag-end na yung Renaissance period is doon na nagsimula yung mga artist na magcopy-copy ng mga subject, like yung mga painting na hindi sa kanila is kinukuha na lang nila. So, which is nagiging plagiarism na siya. So, natatawag na siyang plagiarism which is hindi sa kanila yung kinukuha nila. Distorted figures is, ang mannerism kasi is, most of all sa artwork nila is nailarawan dito ang mga pangkaraniwang pakiramdam, like yung pinapahayag nila ang mga emosyon nila sa ginagawang artwork nila. So, sa two-dimensional spaces naman is, most of all sa mannerism is ginagamit nila yung swallow at pati na rin yung two-dimensional spaces kasi to create a sense of flatness and artificiality para maging maganda yung pagka-flat ng mga painting nila. So yung distorted hues and colors is most of all sa mga mannerism ay ginagamit nila sa mga colors which is hindi nila makikita sa nature. Then mahilig sila gumamit ng bold or clashing color. So ginagamit nila yung bold pati clashing color kasi yun ang kahiligan ng mga mannerism or artists. So sa lack of defined focal points, so sa karamihan sa mga mannerism is ginagamit nila is walang malinaw na focal point. So hindi ka makakapag-focus sa artwork na ginagawa nila kasi walang focal point ang artwork nila. Like di mo alam ang point nun. So nangyayari na lang sa artwork nila is like hindi mo na lang siya naiintindihan kasi walang focal point. And the Rococo. So si Baroque and the Rococo is Baroque is derived from the Portuguese term barroco, which is translated as irregular shape. So, kaya na-translate siya ng irregular shape pearl kasi nung 17th century is na-explore nila ang exotic pearl. So, from the East Indies. So, natagpuan nila ang mga pearls na yun is sinasabi nilang were not perfectly spherical or oval but rather irregular shape. So yung mga Rome is ang birthplace nila is nasa Baroque period. So which is karamihan sa mga Roman is ang birthplace nila nanggagaling is sa Baroque period. So according sa mga historian, so nag-expand or kumalat ang Baroque and the Rococo noong 16 to 17 period nung nag-start na ang Renaissance. So central theme ng Baroque and the Rococo which is like intense light, grand vision, ecstasis of death, religious conversations, martyrdom, and commitment to religious commemoration. So, which is yung Baroque and the Rococo, ang central theme nila is nanggagaling or like yung mga painting na nasa loob ng church. Like for example, ito. Like spectacles ng Baroque and the Rococo is yun na yung sinabi kong intense light, grand vision, ecstasis of death, religious conversions, martyrdom, and a commitment to religious commemoration. Lahat ng mga artwork ng Baroque and the Rococo is like gumagamit sila ng colorful palettes, like yung mga painting nila is ginagamitan nila ng mga colorful, like example sa church is like ginagamit nila or kinukulayan nilang ang church para maging lighting masyado, so para maging maganda yung kalabasan ng artwork na nanggagaling sa Baroque and the Rococo. So and also the music is gi-flourish nila or pinalabas na nila yung music. So, kaya ang music is, naniniwala na yung mga tao na ang music is like nakakapag-serve siya sa atin or nakakapag-serve siya sa mga tao na para makipag-communicate like a message na para mag-evoke yung feelings ng listeners. So, halimbawa ako yung listeners, kapag nakikinig ako sa music is, hindi lang ako basta-basta nakikinig sa music. Kumbaga is, nakaka-relate ako doon. So, ang Baroque and the Rococo is, so yung music ng Baroque and the Rococo is like nagsisimula siya sa loud, like nagiging malakas na yung pagkanta nila, then kapag nasa chorus naman sila is nagiging soft na lang yun. So ganun yung music ng Baroque and the Rococo. Ito na yung Italian composer, which is si Antonio Vivaldi, Arcangelo Corelli, Claudio Monteverde. So, sa realism naman is, most of all sa artwork nila is nagpo-focus lang sila sa accuracy or like yung mga tama or in a reality na nangyayari sa buhay natin. Like for example is like sa mga farmers is dinodraw nila yun or pinipaint nila yun kasi in a real life, like nagagawa or nangyayari sa totoong buhay. So, ang realism is nag-emphasize siya ng place para maobserbahan yung traits that can contrast through artwork. So, inobserbahan ng realism or mannerism ang mga traits ng mga artwork nila. So ang realism is na-influensyahan siya ng Hellenistic Greek culture, since ang artwork nila is nag-emphasize sa human body, since yung realism kasi is most of all sa ginagamit nila or dinodraw nilang paint is nasa human body, like mula ulo hanggang paa is dinodraw nila, like ganon yung gusto nilang pagpe-paint. So, ang Hellenistic Greek at realism is nagiging pareho sila, kaya na-influensya ng Hellenistic Greek culture ang mga painting nila. So, ang realism naman is like a modern movement ng art na like a traditional forms of art na like themes and techniques in painting. Like sa realism naman is nandito na yung mga technique ng mga painting, tapos yung mga traditional form of arts, like example nito, then so yung mga artist is nagdidepict real life events. So example is like sa mga nangyayari sa totoong buhay, like ganito, mga artist is nagpo-focus lang sila sa in reality events. So yung mga nangyayari sa totoong buhay or mga nangyayari sa atin, like halimbawa nung sinakop tayo ng mga Espanyol is ganun ang example ng mga artist na ginagawa nila.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day to each and everyone. My name is Saada Eliafal and I'm going to discuss the topic Impressionism. The movement started in France, which led to a break from the traditional and European painting. Nagsisimula sa France hanggang umabot na sa tradisyon ng Europe ang paggawa ng painting. Kumbaga, ang France ay unang nakadiscover ng paggawa ng painting hanggang doon sa Europe. Our style of painting emerged in the middle to late 1800s. Nakadiscover din sila ng bagong style sa pagpainting emerged in the middle to late 1800s. The, the distinctive characteristic of this style is that allows that artist to emphasize the immediate impression he has of particular event or scene. As a artist, bawat gawain kong painting, mayroon ito simbolo o pinapakita kung ito ba ay masaya o malungkot. The impression can be seen through the brushstroke, distinctive of color, and the shadows used by the artist. So, dapat sa pag-painting, dapat ready na ang materials na gagamitin tulad ng brushstroke, color light, and shadow na gagamitin ng artist. Then, proceed tayo sa art novia. Novio. Novio is the short term for novi, which meaning people who have recent acquired wealth, typically those perceived as ostentatious or lacking in good taste. Basahin lang yung short or term of novio, rich meaning. Countries from Europe and the United States. Countries from Europe and the United States witnessed that emergence and flourishing of a new art style between the year 1890 and 1910. Ang Europe at United States, sila ang pag-imbento ng nakadiscover ng bagong style ng art noong 1819 to 1910. This ornamental style use long and organic lines that are concretely manifested in architecture, jewelry, and glass design, among others. Sa ornamental style, gumawa sila ng iba't ibang design tulad ng alahas at salamin at iba pang design. The defining characteristic of art novio is the asymmetrical line that usually form insect wings or flowers stalk. Isa rin katangian ng art novio is that asymmetrical. Makikita sa anyo nito, mayroong pakpak at mayroon ding flower stalk sa ulo more design. Fauvism is a style of painting that emerged in France around 20th century. Ito ay isang style ang paggawa ng painting mula sa France noong ika-20 siglo. Is made by a pure and vibrant color by applying straight from the paint tube directly to canvas. So, pag painting, dapat ang gagamitin kulay yung makulay, dapat apply mo doon sa canvas para highlight. The Fauvism is just like Impressionist, paint direct from the nature. Ang Fauvism just like Impressionist, direct na sila ng pag-painting sa kalikasan. The difference is that most Fauvism work reject that conservative and traditional rendering of three-dimensional space. Ang pagkakaiba lang, ang karamihan sa mga Fauvism ng gawa ay kumbaga wala na ang rendering of three-dimensional space, hindi na sila sumusunod. Yun. Artists introduce and promote and feature space that is defined by the movement of colors. Sa paggawa ng painting, ipinapakita ng artist is destined that color or fiction. At ito yung isang example na fiction.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah K. Kuya. Our topic today is all about post-impressionism. Post-Impressionism. Ang Post-Impressionism ay isang pangunahing Pranses na kilusan sa sining na lumitaw noong huling bahagi ng ika-19 ng siglo. Humigit kumulang sa pagitan ng 1886 at 1905. Ito ay kumakatawan sa isang pag-alis mula sa Impressionism habang patuloy pa ring nakukuha ang inspirasyon mula sa pangunahing prinsipyo nito. Ang mga artistang post-impressionist ay naglalayong ipahayag ang kanilang mga individual na emosyon at pansariling interpretasyon ng mundo. Lumayo sa objektibong paglalarawan ng liwanag at kulay na napapakilala sa Impressionism. Ang sabi dito is, it is an art movement that emerged in France which is a result of both the influence and rejection of Impressionism. Ang mga post-impressionist ay nadama na kulang ang Impressionism sa ilalim at istruktura. Hindi sila nasiyahan sa pagtuon nito sa mga sandaling dumaraan at sa nakikita nilang kakulangan ng emosyonal na nagpapahayag ang kawalan ng kasiyahan na ito ay humantong sa kanilang pagtuklas ng mga bagong paraan upang ipahayag ang kanilang sarili sa pamamagitan ng sining. This eventually led to the development of individual style that gave emphasis to defining from with the use of broken colors and short brush stroke. Ang pangungusap na ito ay mukhang medyo hindi malinaw. Maaaring tinutukoy nito kung paano ang isang partikular ng proseso o impluensya sa kaulanan ay humantong sa pagbuo ng isang individual na estilo sa sining na nagbibigay diin sa paglalarawan ng mga anyo gamit ang mga sirang kulay at maikling brush strokes. Painters became the framework of the contemporary techniques and trends during the 20th century. Let's proceed to Neo-Impressionism. Neo-Impressionism, it is considered as a response to empirical realism of Impressionism. The leading figure in Neo-Impressionism is Georges Seurat, who recorded optical sensations on a more scientific manner. His color theories paved the way for the technique called pointillism. This is our technique, discrete dots and dashes of pure color. Ang Neo-Impressionism nakilala rin bilang chromoluminerism ay isang kilusang sining noong huling bahagi ng ika-19 ng siglo na lumitaw sa Pransya bilang isang reaksyon sa Impressionism. Ito ay itinatag ni Georges Seurat at pinagtanggol ni Paul Signac na naghangad ng isang mas scientifico at instrukturadong diskarte sa pagpipinta. Ang kanilang pagbabago sa teorya at pamamaraan ng kulay ay nagkaroon ng isang pangmatagalang epekto sa pag-unlad ng modernong sining na naka-impluwensya sa mga kasunod na kilusan at mga artista. And let's proceed to Cubism. Cubism, French artist Pablo Picasso, upper picture, and Georges Braque, bottom picture, introduced a new visual arts style between the year 1907 and 1914. The two-dimensional surface of the picture plane. Cubists emphasize that they are not in any way obliged to copy texture from form, color, and space. Sabi dito is, ang kubismo, isang revolusyong kilusang sining na lumitaw sa unang bahagi ng ika-20 na siglo sa Paris ay lubos na nagbago ng paraan kung paano natin nakikita at kinakatawan ang mundo. Ito ay pinasimulan ni Pablo Picasso at Georges Braque at ang impluwensya sa kultura, arkitektura, musika, panitikan at kahit sa diseryo. Ang kubismo ay may dalawang yugto. Ang analytic cubism at ang synthetic cubism. Sa analytic cubism is ang mga bagay ay hinati at binuo muli sa pamamagitan ng geometrikong hugis at mga pahina. Ang mga kulay ay madilim at maputi. Sa synthetic cubism naman is ang mga bagay ay hinati at binuo muli sa pamamagitan ng mga geometrikong hugis at mga pahina. Ang mga kulay ay mas maliwanag at mas makulay. And let's proceed to Futurism. Futurism is 20th century art movement that started in Italy, which highlighted the speed, energy, and power of machines. The movement's influence branched out not only in Europe but also in Russia. The greatest impact of Futurism is evident in poetry and visual arts. Italian poet and editor Filippo Tommaso Marinetti coined the term Futurism to reflect his purpose of this regarding the traditional method of the art in the past. He believes that art should embrace and embody change, innovation, creativity, and originality. Ang sabi daw dito is, ang futurismo ay isang artistikong at social na kilusan na lumitaw sa Italia noong unang bahagi ng ika-20 siglo. Inihayag nito ang dinamismo, bilis at enerhiya ng modernong mundo. Partikular ang teknolohiya at buhay sa lungsod. Tinanggihan ng mga futurista ang nakaraan at tinanggap ang hinaharap na nagtataguyod ng pagbabago at pagbabagong bago. Ang futurismo ay nagkaroon ng isang malaking impluwensya sa pag-unlad ng modernong sining at kultura na nakaimpluwensya sa mga kasunod na kilusan tulad ng kubismo, dadaismo at surrealismo. Gayunpaman, ang kaugnayan nito sa fascismo at ang pagpupugay nito sa karahasan ay naging pagsari ng kontrobersya. And that's all po. Thank you.